Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends Series Retro X-Men Wave 2. I mean, is it Wave 2? It's been a few years since the Wave 1. The retro card figures, the X-Men was sorely lacking in comparison to like the Marvel Universe ones, the Spider-Man ones, but we finally got another retro X-Men Wave and I'm very excited for it. We got some awesome figures. Here, first up, I'm gonna review Spiral because I think obviously she's the one that most people are gonna want to get next to Dark Phoenix and of course Wolverine. But I got my set from ToySnowman.com. They are a Canadian-based retailer. If you put in your orders, chances are you're going to get those fulfilled before the U.S. because Canada gets everything first. So they have a very favorable exchange rate right now between the U.S. dollar and the Canadian dollar. And then all orders over $100 actually ships free to the U.S. within Canada, all of that great stuff. So check out ToySnowman.com. Currently, though, Spiral is the only one that is sold out. The others are still listed as a pre-order. I'm sure there's more expected soon. In Canada, they can get them pretty quickly because there is one single Hasbro distribution center, so they can go through them and get them fairly quickly. So check out ToySnowman.com. Link in the video description below for my referral link, which actually gives you a 5% off coupon code in your Frost Rewards for first-time buyers. Also, they are running a Black Friday sale with a crazy amount of deals, so check it out, ToySnowman.com. Again, referral link in the video description below. So here we have Spiral. So it says Sorceress Swords. So that's like the little call out there. We do get the purple card because she is a villain, and we actually got it pretty evened up this time. 3 villains, 3 heroes, as opposed to the first one, which only had 1 villain. So that is pretty cool. So she is packed in there with a bunch of accessories. We get some really cool artwork. Here on the back of the package, we see the whole wave. We got Wolverine, Dark Phoenix, Longshot, Multiple Man, Avalanche, and then a Spiral, of course. Her bio reads, Spiral, Mojo's deadly enforcer, possesses additional cybernetic limbs, powerful mystic abilities, and a deep enmity for her former flame, Longshot. So pretty exciting. I'm going to open it up because the way they do her arms is kind of nice. It's nothing like what they did here, which was kind of crap because, you know, no torso articulation or anything on this Spider-Man. So, you know, they correct that and they can make it work here. So maybe one day we will get a better version of this. But let's check out Spiral. Okay, here's Spiral out of the package, and you know what? Hasbro straight killed it on this. Holy shit, this thing is awesome. The way they did the arms and everything, she can hold a weapon in every hand. This thing is just kind of insane. Look at how all of this goes. What I will say, though, if I'm going to complain about anything, it's going to be the front torso, how she can't, you know, crunch forward, but that's, you know, pretty much all diaphragm joints that Hasbro does. But she only came with 2 interchangeable hands. I don't know how important it would really be because, I mean, she's going to be holding a lot of her weapons and whatnot. So for, you know, the all silver robotic arm, she does come with a fist to replace with that one, so that is cool. And then for the other hands, she only comes with 1 open hand that's again for the left arm, one of the left arms, nothing for the right arm. So she's for the right, she's going to have all of the same like weapon holding hands. But on the left is where you could change it. And I don't know why it was just one hands just for the left and none for the right. Not sure why it worked out that way. You know, I'm sure they're going to cite budgetary reasons because they put a lot into Spiral. If you look at the wave, right, it's going to be a lot of repaints or essentially almost all repaints. Dark Phoenix is going to be a little bit new, but, you know, reused body molds that we've seen before. Nothing like brand new, newly sculpted stuff. Spiral gets all the love, and rightfully so, because to do this figure right, they would have had to have done that. So like all the arms are new, the hands are all new, the body is all new, everything is all new. We get reused weapons though, that we've seen before. You know, these gold ones are from Angela. The swords are probably the similar. I'd have to go back and look because the way the hilts are, these aren't the same that like the same katanas that came with like Deadpool, but I'm sure we've seen them before. I'd have to really go back and look at a bunch of different figures to find out exactly where they came from. But lots of new stuff on here. So let's get in for a closer look and take to see how they did. Because again, they straight killed it on this. This thing is awesome. Okay, so here's an up-close look at Spiral. Here, the digital face print, not a whole lot to it, right? Just all white eyes, but look at the eyeliner, the eyebrows, the lipstick, all came out looking great. A little bit of blue on the helmet there. Just looks fantastic. White hair. God damn, Hasbro did such a good job. here. So the shoulder pad actually gets some movement in there. I just realized that. I can rotate that around because the yellow on the torso, the part of the design of her costume, that was a little hindering. So the yellow is applied nicely over the blue paint. That's all good and well. You could see how they did the arms. So her torso obviously comes back a little bit right here in the back to accommodate that. But, you know, from forward, it doesn't look, you know, off. If you look back, the hair really hides it, but you could see kind of how it had to flow out to do it. But it works out, you know, quite nicely. You could see how they did it. It's pretty damn amazing how they could get that work. And again, because this is what Hasbro gave us before. Like, and I get that the arms came out of his sides, whereas, you know, for her, they essentially all come from the same shoulder. So it is a little bit different. But with what Hasbro figured out how to do with something like this, they can do something better than this. Not that I hate this, I still like it, but the lack of ab crunch, you know, really sucked. I would have preferred a bigger body as opposed to the Amazing Spider-Man body. So I'm hoping one day they can give us something better than this, because they have given us this, and this is like peak Hasbro probably, because holy hell, it's done really nice again. Looking at her belt there, a little bit of silver paint, just, you know, brown, no buckles or anything. The legs are all new as well. They are pinless knees. You can see pockets there, the fur on there. The fur does, though, kind of hinder some of the ankle pivot depending on how you want to do it. It doesn't stop it completely, but it does get in the way, so just a heads up on that. Each one of these arms are double jointed elbows, pinless, and they're all like different. So obviously this single robotic arm in particular is completely different from the others, but looking at the other hands, like the forearms are going to be the same, the hands are going to be the same, but the biceps are different on some of them. So, you know, she has the metal bands here on these ones, and then the same over here. One has the metal bands, but those are the same. All the forearms are the same here. The hands are all different. As you can see, she has 4 fingers, so 3 fingers and a thumb, and they all have the vertical hinge because she has swords and axes and stuff. She needs to be able to wield those properly. So we get the right hinge on all of the hands. Again, all 4 fingers. Have to look back. I have to look back because when she was a normal person, right, she would have had 2 normal hands. Did they replace all her hands? Shouldn't some of them have had 5 fingers? I have to go back and look at that, I guess. But yeah, there is Spiral. It is just crazy how they got that to work. So now let's see the articulation. Again, the torso is a little lacking, you know, going forward, but that's to be expected, I guess. Okay, so Spiral's articulation. The head is going to get very little movement because of her hair, but it looks like her head is on a dumbbell joint, so you can actually get some pivot into her head. So you can see there, you can move the head a little bit. You're really not going to get a lot in terms of swivel. You really have to work the hair over those parts of the shoulder and the back and everything. As you can see kind of how that works out that way. See those shoulder pads. So that does make it a little difficult. She's not going to look up. She's really not going to look down. So that's tough. Torso, she can pivot to her left that much. She can pivot to her right that much. She can go back a fair amount. She can't come forward like at all. Very, 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 very little. You get a swivel at that diaphragm joint. The legs go out that far apart. She can kick forward that far, which is really good. The leg goes back ever so slightly. You have an upper thigh cut in there. You get a double jointed pinless knee with that much bend at the knee. There is no calf swivel or anything like that. Foot hinges down a little bit. The fur gets in the way. Hinges up a little bit. The fur gets in the way. Ankle pivot a little bit. The fur gets in the way. Peg holes at the bottom of the feet. I really like that they did the wrinkles on the inside of her suit, her suit as well. So it actually makes it look pretty realistic when they do more of that. Now the arms, I didn't go over the arm articulation because there's 6 of them. Like, it's kind of crazy. So the way that it works, you can get a full swivel on each one of these shoulders. So it's kind of difficult to grab each one, but just so you know, like the shoulder, each one can get a full rotation in there, but sometimes, again, it gets difficult to move it around. So again, each shoulder, full rotation in there. Each arm does have an upper bicep swivel in there as well, and then each arm has a double jointed elbow, a pinless double jointed elbow, and it's difficult. The arms are a little bit thin, so you want to be careful when working that elbow. So it gets tricky sometimes, and you don't want to put too much stress on the peg that connects the shoulder to the bicep. So be very, very, very careful when you're working the other part of the elbow because I feel like I'm putting a lot of stress on this peg there from the shoulder to the upper bicep. So you want to be very careful of that, but double jointed elbows on each one of those. And again, there's all the biceps. There are some differences with them, right? One has the metal bands on there, same over there, but they're essentially all the same. So wrists all swivel, and again, they do have the vertical hinge because they're all weapon wielding hands. However, the fist that we have for the metal arm on her left that she comes with, I'm gonna pop out that holding hand. She comes with the fist. That's actually what's on the figure in the package. This has the standard horizontal hinge on the fist. Now the open hand that she comes with that goes onto one of the left hands, which I will pull there and pop that in. This one also has a horizontal hinge as well. And again, 3 fingers and a thumb there. So yeah. And you know what, looking at the hands a little bit more, some of the hands, I guess, are a little bit different. So the holding hand, as you can see, the 3 fingers are together. And then she does have one right here where the pinky is actually separated a little bit. And that actually goes to the same on the right. So these 2 hands here are the same holding hands. And then this one here, that pinky, would it be the pinky? I don't even know. That one is separated a little bit. So there are a slightly different set of hands. They're not all exactly the same. Now, in terms of, you know, how you can get the arms to work, she actually does get some fairly good crossbody in there, even though there is no butterfly joint or anything. So that's kind of cool. So the arms, you can move the arms around in like a bunch of different ways to get these hands to work. Like if you want to go back on that one, come forward on this one, you just have to kind of play around with it and move them in, you know, the different directions that you want them to go. Does that make sense? So like, even though this one technically would kind of be one to go in the middle, you can do, you know, what you want with them to make for whatever you're trying to do, which is pretty cool. So lots of movement in those arms. Okay, and so for some side-by-side comparisons, it's really difficult to get Mojo in full frame because it's just such a large figure. This is the Mojo World, the box set that was exclusive to Hasbro Pulse. It is not the single release fan channel. Well, I guess it wouldn't be fan channel if Target got it. It's not the single release Mojo, which didn't have as many paint app details and was a slightly different color. So you can see it's quite large. Spiral and long shot together. This is the box set version, not the one that we have in this wave, this retro wave. I will be doing a review of that one a little bit later to give you guys like a full-on comparison. There's some slight differences in the deco, right? The retro one has a yellow star as opposed to the white star, and then he has the glowing left eye as opposed to the 2 normal eyes. And then this one, the retro one, comes with the satchel. But here they are. I will show some side-by-side comparisons with some other X-Men as we go along through this wave to see how Spiral stacks up with them. But this one is by far going to be the best figure of the wave, the one that most people are going to want, and will be the first to sell at most places, I would say, next to Dark Phoenix and probably Wolverine, because Wolverine is really cool, and especially since we're going to eventually be getting the whole team in the blue and yellow suits, that's going to be pretty awesome. So that is my review of Spiral. You guys let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of the figure? Is it one that you're going to be picking up? Sorry I don't have the old Hasbro one from the Red Hulk Target exclusive wave. Years, dark days of Hasbro, to give you guys a comparison with that one. I just don't have it. But I can imagine there's no way it comes close to even touching this one, but I do think that one would probably still hold up to today's standards. But, you know, with the opportunity to get this one, I think it's a must-buy. But you guys can let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you guys would like to join the MCU Collective and becoming a channel member, hit that join button. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.